What's good, Wolfpack? It's the Yungavelle back at it with another video. Hope you guys have been doing amazing. The full moon is on the rise, so I think we got about maybe a little bit more than a week before the moon gets full. Got baby girl with me. She was inside her enclosure for the past couple of days, so today is feeding day. So I just came back from performing. So excited to share the new music with you guys when the time is ready. I created this new song called Lone Star. And it's so good, man. It's so good. And it's so good that I think I might call the whole project Lone Star, but that's TBD. In other news, I want to continue on with this series of videos dedicated to the 13 virtues of Ben Franklin. And you might think, if you're just tuning into this series for the first time, that why would I do such a thing? And like I've said in the other previous videos, I had a conversation with one of my older brothers, my business partners, mentors slash brother, not blood brother, but spiritual brother. And he mentioned the word industry, which is one of the virtues, but he mentioned it in a way where it was part of the conversation so naturally to him. Like, yeah, I'm always engaged in industry though. And I was like, what do you mean by industry? Boom, and he avails me to the 13 virtues, and he goes on to tell me how these virtues are actually energies, looks at them as angels, personalities that you can invoke as you work with them. And Benjamin Franklin spent 1 week on each virtue. So with that being said, he would cycle through each virtue 4 times within a year. And this virtue is justice. We are at justice right now. So let me read what justice is according to Benjamin Franklin. Wrong none by doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. It's kind of confusing. It really does sound like some shit that you would say in that era. Wrong none by doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. So, justice. And what I think they're talking about is this thing that I actually spoke in conversation about with my friend a couple days ago. And it's the concept of prescribed duty. I think I might have mentioned this in my other videos, that we all have a prescribed duty with our time here on the planet. And the analogy was this. So me and my buddy, we're both in law enforcement right now, and sometimes it gets a lot. It gets a lot, and we're like, why? This is a lot, man. This is a lot. We don't really want to do this, and everybody has those thoughts with working for someone else, I'm sure, and at some point. So he was going through that, and I shared with him the concept of prescribed duty, and I used where I learned it from, which was from the Vedic literature. The Vedic literature is the Hindu literature. They only call it Hindu because when the Muslims invaded that portion of India, it was north of the Sindhu River, and they couldn't pronounce the S, so they called it Hindu. But all the literature and all the wisdom is really called Vedic, which means knowledge in Sanskrit. So prescribed duty there was this big war that was going on in India, and one of the main characters, Arjuna, was talking to God, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and was like, Krishna, my grandfathers and my family are on the other side of, I'm fighting them. I cannot do this. I cannot kill them. And Krishna basically was saying, you are lamenting for something that does not need to be lamented for. And he then spoke the Bhagavad Gita, which just means Song of God, and broke it down to Arjuna, basically saying, do your prescribed duty. this is your prescribed duty, and if you don't do it, you actually might incur karma. So it's, yeah, to our human minds, the things that we might need to do might not necessarily be what we want to do, but they are our duty. You know, do what you must. They are our duty. And that idea of prescribed duty is basically going along the lines of service. What is your service? Like, this is an act of, when you're engaging in your prescribed duty, perceive it in a way where you know that this is the service that you are vested in at this point in time. I'll say that again. When you are engaging in your prescribed duty, look at it in terms of you are engaging in the service that you are vested in at that point in time. Because I'll share a little secret with you guys. Service to God is the natural position of the soul. It is the natural position of the soul because we are part and parcel of God. So as we serve, we are actually watering the root that we are a part of. And it's funny because Krishna is often, or the Lord is often looked at as a desire tree. Okay, baby girl, first time wrapping around the neck, and you might think that this is crazy, but she is very small, so she is not doing anything. She's just exploring. She hasn't been out in a couple days. Krishna is looked at, or the Supreme Personality is looked at as a desire tree, because not only are you a branch on that tree, your desires are a branch on that tree. So yeah, it might look daunting for you to behave in that way, to behave perceive in the spiritual terms, the higher up vantage point terms, justly. And for your mind, it might be like, man, this is a lot. But as you engage in said duty, you are actually watering the root that is the tree of your branches, of your desires, which are the leaves and the twigs on the same tree. You get what I'm trying to say. Prescribed duty is just do what you got to do and do it justly. So that's my take on what I believe Benjamin Franklin was saying when he mentioned justice. You know, what did he say? He said, wrong none by doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. So the first part is pretty obvious, you know, wrong none, behave justly. But the second part is basically don't shy away from that which is your prescribed duty, because it is allotted to you for a reason. And you know, that's huge. It is allotted to you for a reason. There is a reason that you are where you are right now. And that's something that is not to be taken lightly. It's something that you should take heed of and act accordingly. So I just thought it was interesting how me and my buddy had that conversation recently about just engaging your prescribed duty, and do not be attached to the results. That is a huge thing. That is a huge thing. You are not entitled to the results of your activities, and that's what made Arjuna more easily apt to accept his prescribed duty, because he offered up the results of his activities to the Supreme God, knowing that he was acting in service. So engage in your prescribed duty and release the results of your activities to God, the Most High, whatever you believe in. Point is, don't attach yourself to the results, because you're not entitled to them, one. And two, when you behave that way, whatever you're doing is free of karma. I'm giving you guys the secrets, like the deep spiritual secrets that are deeply rooted to our nature. When you behave that way, your actions are not karmically bound. So there will be no repercussion. There will be no repercussion. And that's huge. That's huge, especially if you're spiritually adept enough to understand that when a lot of the times a lot of the reasons that souls come back after death is because of their attachments and lessons that weren't learned, and basically karmic ties, and whether positive or negative. And if you have actions that are not karmically bound, when you reach that platform, you might, and this is, I don't know, you might be more likely to continue your evolution without having to take birth again, which is a thing, you know. That's a thing of like, because there's suffering here basically, and there is no suffering on the higher platforms. So engage in your prescribed duty and do it justly. Release the results of your activities. So that's the gist of this video. I don't want to keep it too long. It's feeding day, so baby girl is looking beautiful as ever. Man, she's the best. Hello, say hi to everyone. Yeah, so I hope you guys are doing great, man. It's good to be back on here. I haven't posted in about a week, and I had to release some energy in order to move forward, and I did that, which is great. Now I'm back on track, and continue on, guys. Continue on the path, and understand that the moon is building, so the energy will be high. So be conscious in your movements. And like I always say, I got the merch on. People were loving the Awakened Alpha merch as I was performing. So hit that link in the description. Give Cora some love. She definitely can feel it through the screen. Like I always say, guys, remember, a greater perspective can lead to a greater connection.